Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Lucas. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested, requesting any type of videos, whether it be random thoughts, streams, commentaries, rankings, movie review, re-review, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box that I will get to as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now, he wanted me to do ranking on the forms of Baxter Stockman from the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoon. Now, he wrote 20 of them, which is a lot to try to remember. So I'm trying to use this site, which is a Ninja Turtle, like it's a turtle, like a Wikipedia, but for Ninja Turtles. So I'm using this concept art to kind of compare the, because the 20, which is a lot, is like his human body, and I know you see a little bit of there. Human body with eye patch, wheelchair robotic arm, ultra cyborg, spider body for head. It's a lot to try to remember and think of. So for easier sake, I'll do it this way. Him in human form, have no issues with. Reminds me of the comic book back in the day. Probably my favorite version of Baxter Stockman. And I thought the voice actor did a good job. I thought, and when I say favorite version, I meant in all the incarnations of the 80s cartoon, that stupid ass Michael Bay produced Out of the Shadows movie. I like the way they handle him in this. And when you see the reason he keeps changing is, I thought it was a really cool, sadistic but cool idea. Each time Baxter Stockman fails, the Shredder would punish him. So as the show progresses, you see that he keeps losing more and more and more body parts. I thought that was a really dark but interesting idea. So you would see Stockman, and then the next time you see him, he had an eye patch. Then the next thing, he was in this wheelchair with this like robotic arm. And then you would see him as like this cyborg thing here. And the idea is that Shredder kept punishing him more and more and more. That he's literally just a fucking brain in a jar. They would go from like this to this. And just you filling in the blanks as to what Shredder did himself, had people do to him, creates this image of just how ghastly it all was. So I thought that was, I don't know if I call it subtle, but I thought that was an interesting take on it. Especially if you watch the show in continuity. And it didn't bit dark for a TV show, because it is like, wait a minute, so that means, oh shit, they chopped his arm off, or took his legs, or other stuff, extracted his brain from his body, like right here. I mean, I would say my favorite is just regular Stockman, just the simple look of it. I think each of these versions worked for what they need to do and showcase. I would say my second favorite, honestly, would be the brain in a jar, just because of all the images that escalate in your brain as to how he got to that route, how he became that. And also, this reminds me of Blood Diner, the horror film Blood Diner, where you had the brain in the jar. What are you talking about, homo? Like, if you've never seen Blood Diner, check it out. It's a very weird, crazy movie, and that's what it reminds me of. So that would be number 2. That I get a kick out of that. And yeah, those are birds and geese outside just doing whatever they can. So you wonder, what the fuck is that? As for the other bits, I would say the next one I would go for favorite would be... Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna shoot you, I swear. God damn, they must be excited for Baxter Stockman too. I would say... This one would be number 3 because it reminds me... I don't know, it reminds me of the villain in RoboCop 2, Kane. So I don't mind this. I like how bulky it is and all the different weapons and gadgets on it. Makes him a big threat. This would be number 4 because I like the idea of having this pretty damn fit. I mean, he's got a 6-pack, almost an 8-pack. But the idea of having a hologram on the top, I thought was a cool idea. Next up would be this one because of the story that entails of it, where he's like thinking of his mom, and so it's like an emotional episode for him, but then his body keeps breaking apart. And actually, you know, the more I think about it, I would put this number 3. Just Stockman number 1, the brain number 2, and this number 3 just because I thought it was really crazy what they could get away with on a cartoon like that. I think that's one of those episodes that they had to fight the censors with a bit. I think it's called like Insane in the Membrane or something. And just you see him falling apart and his skin falling off. Pretty risky for a cartoon, at least that type, from when it was on, which was Fox Kids and etc. So I do appreciate that. That would be number 3. And then I would say this bulky one I like. And then the one with this one with the hologram. This one, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of a means to an end. He's in a wheelchair. It's just that the wheelchair is definitely not threatening. But it's more for the story of how he went from this to this, and your eyes, and you can, like I said, put in your own 2 cents of how he got this way. In other words, the Shredder fucked him up. That's really the only interest of this look. It doesn't make him scary or intimidating or anything. It's just plainly for that. This I'm not a fan of. I thought this kind of looks the goofiest. He looks like one of those damn crabs in, was it Half-Life? I just think that looks a bit goofy. I'm not a fan of that at all. This one, I just thought the body just looks a bit plain compared to this one here. Like this one just looks a bit more state-of-the-art. It looks a bit more glitzy and glamour, if that makes sense. Especially with the hologram head. This one just comes off just a bit like a... Honestly, this looks like one of those damn suits in G.I. Joe that Marlon Wayans would wear. So this is kind of lower on the totem pole. I would say so far this would be my least favorite. These two, and then my second least favorite. I say this is my third least favorite. Him having a hologram head with just the brain here, I'm like, you don't really need that. You just have the brain and the voice come out like before. I think that works better. Here is just trying to be a bit too much. In a weird way, counterintuitive. Like, you have the brain here. Like, we know it's Baxter Stockman. You don't need it there. It works better as it's part of a body. So you have like the head and the rest of the body in this hologram, but when it's just the brain, it just looks a bit weird. So I would say least favorite. I would say this is my second least favorite. This is my third least favorite. And while I said this is my favorite, that's up there. That's my third favorite, and this is my second favorite. Obviously, the Baltimore one's 4, and then this would be 5. These two, I would put the ones I said my least favorite. I would put these two above that, but less of the ones that are my favorite, because these just seem a bit too overcomplicated. Too many like parts that seems to just get a little bit messy on both of them. Like too many things here, trying to be a bit too spiffy. This one, I'll put above the ones I put in my least favorite. I'll put this above those because the idea of the head going up like this as a mask definitely gives a bit of a ghastly, gory effect, and have a brain in there. It just seems a bit... Something about it just seems a bit nastier with that reveal that I will put above it. And this stuff here I'm a bit indifferent on. Very, very indifferent on. This one, which was in the Same As It Never Was episode, I'm in the middle. Because on the one hand, the idea of them being merged together and what that entailed definitely can create some nasty... Like if you want to put into a plot a story of how that happened, how that came to be. But on the flip side, it definitely makes them not as threatening because, again, they're in a wheelchair, they can't do anything. Not sure if Stockman would really want to be paired with Hun in a chair, because you think Stockman would want to be somewhere where he could be much more fruitful, especially when he's done this stuff in the past, that he could make these cyborg bodies. So why result in this? Him and then the crab thing just didn't do much for me. So yeah, I'm looking at his list here. It's hard to... because there's not pictures here for everything. So he says, human body, I'll put that number 1. This one here. Ah, come on. I don't care. Get away. So let's say that's number 1. Then look at this here. I said number 2 was then saying the membrane. So I gotta figure where that's at. So I would think that'd be unstable human clone would be number 2. Sorry, I have to do this because I will lose track. So number 2 would be this one here. Especially that. I mean, that, is a bit to put into for a kid's show, which I like. I appreciate that. Too bad with the censors they couldn't go further. Ah, goddamn, I keep thinking I'm going to do that. So that's number 2. Number 3, I put the brain in the jar. Brain and eye in the jar of Rogue in the House. That'd be number 3. From the episode Rogue in the House. I'm trying to remember which one is this. The exosuit. I'm trying to remember which one that is. Human body with eye patch, wheelchair robotic arm, ultra cyborg, return to New York, spider body for heads, Utrum, head and stomach. No, head's not in the stomach there. I don't know which one this is. Brain eye, robotic skeleton, hologram head, tank body. I don't know what this one would be. With the stuff he put here. Because it reminds me like a bit of Ed 209 with the machine guns and stuff. Either way, that'd be number 4. I'll put it that way. That's hard where there's 20 of them to choose. Okay, human body with eye patch, that'd be lower. Wheelchair, robotic arm, that's this one. I'll put it above him in just an eye patch, because it tells even more of the story of how he's been completely fucked up by the Shredder. Ultra Cyborg, I can't remember which one that is. If that's this one. I'll assume it's that. If it's not, then just, for sake of argument, this is what I'm calling the Ultra Cyborg. If that's the case, I'll put that, I'll keep that below wheelchair and robotic arm and human body with eye patch. Just, like I said, just, I know it's not a suit, but it just looks like the suit from G.I. Joe, which I'm not. Spotter body for head. That's this bit here. I think it's meant to be this. Not a fan of, so I put that below. Utrom bodysuit, head and stomach. A bodysuit and the head's in the stomach. They may not show it here. Oh, probably this one. Yeah, Utrom. I'll put it above the Ultra Cyborg when it's just the one on the right. Like the one on the left, I'll put a bit more than the right, because at least the one on the left, it just looks a bit more unique. Actually, you know what? I'll put it above even the wheelchair robotic arm, because that, I think, is a better way of... This is a better way of telling it than this. This one just looks a bit blasé. This one with the head in the stomach gives a nice bit of a sci-fi angle to it. Utrom bodysuit, head on neck. Maybe that's what this is, if that's the case. You know what, Ultra Cyborg, I'll say this. Ultra Cyborg, I will assume is this. I'll just say it's this, the Ultra Cyborg. Yeah, if that's the case, I'm going to put that at number 4. Because this is Utrom bodysuit, head on neck, I'm going to assume is this. Because that does look like an Utrom body. And I'll put that below. I know I'm confusing you. Trust me, I'll figure out once I complete it. This is, you see, a work in progress. Utrom bodysuit, head on neck. Okay, I did that. Brain and eye and jar with hologram head. That's this one. That one I thought looked a bit goofy. I'll put it above spider body for head, but it'll be low at the bottom. Robotic muscle body with hologram head. Robotic muscle. I'm assuming that's this one, because that does like a muscle body, hologram on head. That one I do like. I quite like that. So I'll put that. I'll put that as number 5. I'll put that as number 5. Stockman infused with Hun. I'll put that. Like I said, I'm 50-50 on it, so I'll put it right above brain and eye and jar with hologram head. Robotic muscle body with hologram head and spider legs. I think that's this one. This is the one where I think is a bit too busybody. I'm assuming that's what that is. So if that's the case, I'll put this. I'll put it above the Hun, the stuff fused. Brain and eye for head with organ tendrils. Brain and... Going through a thin robotic skeleton. Thin robotic skeleton. I'm not sure if that's on here. Brain and eye with organ tendrils. Adventures in Turtle City, that's from Fast Forward, so it's not that. That's from Fast Forward. I don't know what that is, so... Honestly, from the sound of it, I'll put it along with the other... I'll just put it there. Just for sake of argument. Robotic skeleton covered over with a hologram of his human body. Oh, is that this one here? I like this. I don't like this. But I like this part. That's the thing. I mean, you just keep this. You don't need a hologram of his body. But I do like this design. I think this design is very sci-fi. In a way, very creepy looking. Because you have the brain there, and it looks like these are... They're not muscle tendons, but they almost look like it and stuff, so... I actually like that. I like this design, so... I'm actually going to stick with that part, and... You know, I like this so much, I'm going to put that in number 6. Hologram head on a taint body. So, there's got to be a hologram head, taint body. This might not be on here. Let me skip it. Brain and eye and robotic body, robotic limbs. That's this one here. That I don't mind. It's still a little bit too busy with all the stuff on the side here. I like the bit in the middle though. So I'll put it... That's the thing, I'm not going to remember all this shit. Even as I'm doing this. I'll do this. Okay. This is number 1. Just simple. Sometimes simplicity is all you need. The unstable clone body, I'll put number 2. I like how grisly it got. The episode pertaining to it definitely is interesting. This is number 3. Not just because it reminds me of a blood diner, but just how horrific that is. Like, imagine your whole life and you're just now a brain in a tank with just a single eyeball. It's such a horrifying image, horrifying idea. Ultra Cyborg. I'm just going to call it this one. I know it's an exosuit, but I'll just say this one is number 4. Because again, it just reminds me of Ed 209 or Kane from RoboCop 2. This one put number 5. I think the look of this is just very sleek, very done with finesse. I like the colored lights here. Looks like kick-ass power armor. That's number 5. This I put number 6 because I think this looks really cool. Looks very, in a way, creepy and very sci-fi, almost tad horror with this. Even the hologram, it does look like you look at his rib cage and stuff, which is even more creepy. But yeah, I like that design. That's number 6. Let me see something real quick. Again, I just want to see something real quick with this. Robotic head containing brain and eye with spider legs. I think that's what this... Or... robotic body with human face, blue lens. Yeah, this one I would put number 7. Because if you don't do the thing with spider legs, I like the fact that the face comes up and it reveals this. That just seems creepier. This one eyeball staring at you has a little bit of a horror vibe. So robotic head containing brain and eye with spider legs, that's going to be number 7. Brain and eye green colored. If it's that one, it just looks like ready for some hentai. I'm not a fan of that. I think this robot body with the lens on the face. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the coloring on that. So with that, I'll say number 8 will be just for the story it tells, the wheelchair, because okay, eye patch is bad enough, but goddamn, he's in a wheelchair too, and he's got the thing on the neck, and he's losing an arm. It's like, wow, now you really know. If you had doubts before that, Shredder's chopping him up and chopping him into pieces. So that's number 8. I guess that's more because of the story involved. Then this would be number 9 because I like the it in the head having the face of the android. I think this looks better than this. So that'd be number 9, which is Utron body with head, stomach. As simple as this. Human body with eye patch, because that's the first inclination of what Shredder can do to Stockman and how brutal he can be. So, ooh, he took his eye out. Shit. As it went on, like, you got used to it, so it wasn't as crazy, but still, those early days, like, oh shit. I like that kind of continuity, that gradualness of it. Then I think we got after that we got this here, because I like the bit in the middle. So that'll be number 11. Muscle body with hologram head and what was it? This one with the spider body, I don't really like the spider body, so that's why it's low on the list. That'll be number 12. And honestly, the rest of it just, I would say the rest of it is kind of take or leave it, honestly, with the rest of it. I would say my least favorite is, this is my least favorite. And I just, not much to it. It just looks goofy. This is one of my least favorites. It just looks plain. Too plain. This is my third least favorite, because I think this is all you need. You don't need the hologram. It just looks a little bit goofy with the hologram on top. That's my third least favorite. Then my fourth least favorite, because this one just seems more alien than anything. This one just seems a bit too alien with the tendrils. This is my fifth least favorite because it just looks like penis colored, honestly. It does look like penis color, so that's my fifth least favorite. And this one I don't remember. I really don't remember this. Yeah, I don't remember this one. So. And this would be my, I'll put that my sixth least favorite, is this one. Just this idea is kind of interesting with them joined, but then it's very impractical. I just don't see Stockman. I guess desperate measures is one thing, but must have been really fucking desperate if you gotta do that. But I like the idea, because the fact you have to connect the two lets your mind wander on that, so. That's pretty much it with the ranking. Sometimes the tried and true is the way to go. Number 1, unstable clone, right here. Number 2, brain eye in a jar, here. Number 3. Whatever this one was called, this would be number 4. This one here, number 5. This one here, number 6. This one here, number 7. Because I think with the face lifted up, that just makes it look creepier. And then 8 and 9 is just storytelling wise. This one here, 9, the one with him in the, just the, that and the eye patch, all that stuff. And there you go. So with that said, as I stop this here, thanks for watching. Take care. Sorry I was a bit willy-nilly, but did the best I could. Thanks once again to Lucas. I do appreciate it. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.